Good evening. Today is Thursday, March 11th, 2021, 6 o'clock. We're here at the Summerlin Library in Las Vegas, pursuant to the Governor's Emergency Directive on public meetings. Will take place in person at Summerlin Library and also via WebEx. Ms. Allison, may we have roll call?
Chair Ortiz.
Present.
Trustee Benavides.
Present.
Trustee Wadley-Munay. Trustee Foyt.
Present.
Trustee Francis Drake.
Here.
Trustee Melendrez. Trustee Raymaker.
Here.
Trustee Rogers. Trustee Wilson.
Present.
Trustee Waugh. And for the record, I note that Executive Director Kelvin Watson and General Counsel Gerald Welt are also here in attendance as well. You have a quorum, Chair Ortiz.
I'm sorry, did you call Nathan Watt? Yes, okay, sorry. Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you very much. We're at the Summerlin Library. Anybody that's in person, if you see us move to the exits, please move with us. They're in the front and also in the back. Do not hesitate when you see us leave. We will leave you behind in case of a fire and emergency. Okay. Thank you very much. If everybody please rise so we can say the Pledge of Allegiance. All righty, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I do notice that Trustee Rogers has just joined us, so I wanted to make a note.
Thank you very much. And as facetious as it sounds, I've been at meetings and people still wonder why everybody's leaving, even though there's smoke and a fire right before their eyes. So, in an abundance of caution, I still encourage everybody to walk out with us, okay? All right. At this time, Ms. Allison, is there public comment?
Yes, there is. It is from Mr. Graham Williams. I do have his address and an email. And he is actually commenting on agenda item 2, public comment. He says NRS 241.035 concerns the inclusion of public comments in board minutes. I would like to draw the board's attention to 2 areas of concern: how email comments to the board are handled and how that handling is described on the library website in the text of board meeting agenda items 2 and 11. These are the agenda items which invite public comment. Disclaimer, I am not a lawyer. Part 1, what does the law require for email comments to the board? The inclusion of public comments in board minutes is described in NRS 241.035, section 1, paragraph D. For better or worse, the law uses general terms rather than terms specific to the email. Paragraph D said that the minutes should include the substantive remarks made by any member of the general public who addresses the public body if the member of the general public requests that the minutes reflect these remarks, or if the member of the general public has prepared written remarks, copy of the prepared remarks if the member of the general public submits a copy for inclusion. It certainly seems like email comments to the board are written remarks which are submitted for inclusion, and so should automatically be included in the minutes verbatim. An alternative view is that to be included in the minutes, the email should include an explicit request, such as I submit these remarks for inclusion in the minutes. Other than this ambiguity, the law does not appear to allow the board any discretion in this area. Part 2, how public comments are described in the agenda and on the website. The possibility of public comments to the board is described in a document linked at the top of the district's website, specifically Board of Trustees meetings. It is out of date and does not include the possibility of email comments to the board. The board, of course, is under no obligation to explain the Nevada revised statutes to the general public On the other hand, it makes sense for the board to be explicit about email comments and how they are handled, only to ensure they are handled consistently. One question about the text of the agenda items inviting comments concerns how the 3-minute rule applies to email comments. The board might consider requiring that email comments start with a short summary, say up to 500 words, which is read during the meeting with the remainder included in the minutes. In any case, the text of the agenda item and the text on the web should make it clear what limits do or do not apply to email comments. Another question is whether the board will automatically include email comments in the minutes or whether an explicit request for inclusion is required. Once decision is made, this should be reflected in the text of the agenda items and on the website. Part 3, recommendations. I recommend that the board ask council for an explanation of what the board is required to do and where it has discretion. 2, decide how to address the questions I have raised about email comments regarding size and inclusion in minutes. 3, update the text of the agenda items in the website to make it clear what people can do and how to do it. I request that the text of these remarks be included verbatim in the minutes of this meeting. And I'm going to check and see if anybody signed up outside. Hold on just a moment, please. There is nobody signed up outside for this session of the public comments. We will have some in the second
Thank you, Ms. Ellis.
opportunity.
Thank you, Ms. Ellison. So for purposes of this public comment question, this individual raises some legitimate concerns. I would ask that this be placed back on next month's agenda for discussion and possible action. And please think about how you want this done, so we can discuss it at that time and not really spend a ton of time. Some have to be a little bit careful. Some cities provide cards to provide input. We don't really want to be in a position to put 200 pages as backup data and somebody go off on a tangent. Most importantly, think about if they have to identify themselves and what address they're from, because we serve the city of Las Vegas and Clark County, and we may have people from Henderson and North Las Vegas that want to comment, and they're not our constituent base. It's an important constituent, but not our particular constituent. So those are the things for you to think about for next meeting on how to proceed. But if you would add this to the next meeting item, and then Jerry will be coming back to you with some of our thoughts and to see if those are feasible and doable. And for the person that sent the comment, we'll address it at that time, because we're not allowed to address anything other than take your public comment. All right, having heard,
Chair,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
so did you just say you were going to ask Council Welt to bring back information at that next meeting as well?
It's going to be a discussion for possible action. It's going to be our decision on how we do it. At that time, you can ask Council Welt what his thoughts are, but we can decide how we want to do it first. And then he can tell us whether that's appropriate and legal under the law.
Okay,
We want the trustees to decide how we want this done, not our attorney telling
but
us how.
shouldn't he be prepared to tell us, not that you're not, but I
No.
noticed you were going to make a comment, I think.
Well, this is
Sure.
not the time to discuss it. He will be.
I wasn't discussing, I just was saying, if we're going to discuss it, don't we need to have information to discuss?
The answer is yes.
Okay, thank you.
The
That's
answer is
all I
yes.
needed.
You will have information to discuss and not. Yes, he'll have, and you can ask him anything you like. Nobody's going to censor you, but there is a lot of ways to do this so that we get the proper input, the identified input, and what is it that we want from that input? Do they agree, disagree? What? So there's a lot of ways to discuss it. But yes, Jerry Welt, our legal counsel, who's here today in person, will provide us with parameters on where to decide this. Okay, so that'll be on next month's agenda. Thank you very much. If you look at your minutes, we're going to table item 4, presentations for Trustee Marilyn Francis Drake and Wadley Mouye until the next meeting. So hopefully they'll attend the next meeting. So we're going to strike that from the agenda. We're also, if you look at your minutes under announcements, and we'll repeat them, but we're going to be at the East Las Vegas Library and not the Sahara West Library. East Las Vegas Library, not the Sahara West Library. With those two corrections, I'll entertain a motion to approve the proposed agenda. So moved by Robin Wadley Meunier. Is there a second?
I'll second. Raymaker.
Second by Trustee Raymaker. All in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you very much. Is anybody opposed? Okay, thank you very much. Motion carries. So item number 3 is done. Item number 4 we just tabled. Item number 5 is approval of proposed minutes. These will be postponed until April 8th, 2021 regular board meeting. They'll be given to us ahead of time so we can take a look at and make any revisions and or approve at that time. Okay. Item number 6 under chair's report. So we're going to have the discussion at the next meeting concerning public comments and how we should address that. Legitimate question, absolutely. It's under our discretion on how we want to deal with that, of course, with our attorney telling us our parameters. And then let's see what else I have to report.
Our new trustee.
Yes. So we don't have, next, well, I'll wait for the announcements. At this time, I'd like to welcome Trustee Nathan. Well, first of all, welcome back, Kelly Benavides. Thank you so much for being appointed. And congratulations again. Did you want to say anything? Did you want to say anything?
Thank you. Actually, I don't know if the rest of the trustees were aware, but this was probably one of the most coveted positions in the past. You know, we've had trouble filling trustee positions, but I'm proud to report that we had about 10 or 11 applications come into the county. So that says a lot about the work that we're doing as a board, that we have so many inquiries of people wanting to be part of this board. So I feel very honored and pleased that I'm back on the board, reappointed. You'll have me for the next 4 years and we'll go from there. But just wanted to thank the rest of the trustees for all their support as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Benavides, and welcome back. Trustee Elizabeth Foyt got reappointed. Congratulations also.
Thank you.
Please, if you'd like to say something.
I would. I'm looking forward to the next 4 years. I certainly have learned a lot in this past term of office that I've held. I am very thankful for the county commissioners who were very supportive in my nomination, led by Tick Sagerbloom and Michael Naft. As Kelly referred to, there were 11 applicants this time, and among them, of course, is our newcomer, Nathaniel Watt. And I think we're going to have a great board, and we have a wonderful new executive director. So we're looking forward to wonderful things happening here at the Library District. Thank you.
Thank you very much and welcome back. And then at this time, I'd like to introduce Nathaniel Waugh. He's our new trustee appointed by the Clark County Commission. Nathaniel, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Allison told me not to write a speech, but I did write something down so I don't lose my thoughts. So first I want to thank you and all the other trustees for the hospitality and everything that you all have shown me since my appointment on Monday. And of course to the County Commission, particularly to Commissioner McCurdy for his support. So just a little bit of background. You know, my affinity for the libraries really began when my father retired from the Air Force, and we moved to Las Vegas. And shortly thereafter, my mother started working for the Las Vegas Clark County Library District at Enterprise Library back when it was on Shelbourne. And so I'd spend weekends and after school at the library, watching movies, reading books, volunteering, participating in programming. And I think those things have really helped me be great at pub trivia, as well as kind of shaped my love for education and service. I did want to join this board because libraries are an important part of our community and are very important to me personally. The library was there during good times and bad times, and I want to see the libraries continue to flourish to provide every resident of Southern Nevada an opportunity to learn, relax, grow, have fun in a world-class library system. By day, I work at Hope for Prisoners as a program supervisor, working to help people obtain training and jobs with my program's specific focus on being people unemployed due to COVID-19, regardless of background. Hope for Prisoners, this was Hope for Prisoners' first mission expansion since the organization was founded. In addition to this board, I currently serve on the Nevada State Board of Architecture, Interior Design, and Residential Design since 2016. And I've previously served on the State Personnel Commission, the Whitney Town Board, and several Nevada System of Higher Education task forces. And I also recently graduated in December with my Master of Arts in Urban Leadership from UNLV. I'm excited to bring my experiences to this board and learn more from each of you to be an effective and informed steward of our system, an advocate for the Las Vegas Clark County Library District and the community and with policymakers. I believe LVCCLD is at an exciting point, especially with our new director. Looking toward the future, and I'm excited to be a part of facing that future and doing some really amazing things here for Southern Nevadans. So thank you for giving me that brief moment. I'm looking forward to working with all of you.
Well, welcome aboard. I'm sure you're going to find a lot of things to look at, and we value and expect your input wherever you see that you can provide us that input. Thank you very much, and welcome aboard. Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion. We will have a presentation from Chelsea Capurro of Griffin Company on our legislative agenda. I'd like to move that item from item 8A to item number 3, so we can get them out of the way right away. I'll entertain a motion to accept that change in the agenda.
So moved.
So moved by Brian Wilson. Is there a second?
Second, Trustee Rogers.
Second by Trustee Rogers. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So the motion is to, thank you very much. The motion is to have a presentation from Chelsea Capurro of the Griffin Company. Is she online?
Good evening. I'm here.
Please go ahead.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. It's great to see all of you again. It's been a little bit since I was last on here, so thanks for the time this evening. Last month, a session had just begun, so it didn't quite make sense for me to get on. We're currently on day 39 of our 120-day session. Unfortunately, we're still doing things kind of how we are now. This is what our meetings with legislators look like on Zoom. So not too much has changed. The building is still completely closed to the public. The only, and including staff as well. Currently, they only are allowing legislators and limited staff and a small number from the press in there as well. It looks like they're trying to open that up. We're hoping perhaps they could open that up in a limited capacity in the next couple of weeks. They're working to get all of staff and all of the legislators vaccinated. And I think they're pretty close to that goal. What that means when it actually opens up, we're not quite sure if that's allowing people to come in if they have appointments, or allowing people to come in if they have bills that they're presenting or testifying on. So that's still to be determined. So we'll just keep you guys updated on what that looks like. We're getting pretty close to some deadlines, the first of our deadlines. So the next one coming up is on March 15th, and that's when all legislators' individual bills have to be introduced. And then another one coming up on the 22nd, and that's when the rest of the bill draft requests have to be introduced. And then shortly after that, we've got a couple in April where the bills have to pass their first committee by April 9th and their first House of Origin by April 20th. So for example, all assembly bills have to be passed out of the assembly by April 20th, and then they'll go over to the Senate side and start that process there. I think the next biggest update, and then probably the last thing I have, and I'll open it up for questions, is an update on your bill that we have put in. Currently, it's still a bill draft request. I have gotten back the first draft from the Legislative Council Bureau, And we're on track for getting that introduced on Monday. And just to give a quick reminder for everyone of what you as the board voted to move forward with, it would be for library districts serving over 1 million people. It would give the board the authority to set the educational qualifications for the executive director. And then it would also give the board the authority to hire an internal auditor. So hoping that gets introduced most likely either tomorrow or Monday. And once that gets set and introduced, it will come up for hearing. We've had some preliminary conversations and everything looks well. So that's all I've got. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Trustee Robin Wadley Munier, did you have any questions or comments on this agenda?
Not at this time. Thank you, though.
Thank you very much. Trustee Brian Wilson, did you have any questions or comments?
Just that when hearings do get scheduled on that bill, if you could make sure that all of us are notified as soon as possible.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much. Dr. Rogers, did you have any questions or comments?
And I don't mean to tread old ground, but could you just clarify, is this our bill or is this information part of someone else's bill?
This is just your bill.
Okay.
Assemblywoman Bilberry Axelrod put in the bill draft request, but it's not going to include anything else. Should there be a request for more, for something to be added or amended into that, that's a conversation that I would be having with you guys. But at this point, it's just those 2 items.
Thank you. No
Thank you
further
very
questions.
much. Trustee Sandra Raymaker, do you have any questions or comments on this agenda item?
Yeah, I just want to thank you for sending out the weekly reports. I mean, we have a lobbyist with the city and we haven't heard a word out of them. And I just keep sending off your information to share with them because I keep saying, you need somebody who's going to give us information. And I so appreciate what you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Trustee Jose Luis Melendez, any questions or comments?
No, but just like we just said, I do appreciate the reports and the information that they provide on a regular basis. And also I wanted to say quickly, welcome to our new trustee. Thank you very much. Trustee Elizabeth Foyt, any questions or comments?
I'm just looking forward to getting timely information on when the bill is moving along. And I do really like the weekly reports. They're very effective. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Trustee Kelly Benavides, any questions or comments?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Nathaniel Watt, any questions or comments? Thank you very much. The only thing I wanted to remind, and this is not for Chelsea, this is just for our audience that's there. The trustees voted to add an internal auditor as a second position to the Board of Trustees. The trustees also voted for the trustees to have the opportunity to have a broader search of candidates, not necessarily with an MLS requirement. Ultimately, they probably will get an MLS requirement, because if you're not a mechanic and you don't know what tools you have, then you're probably not the right person. But at least it opens a door for a broader range of candidates, and that's what we were looking for. That's all I have. Ms. Chelsea, is there anything else?
No, I'm glad to hear that the reports are useful. We'll keep those coming and keep you all updated. It's also been great to work with the new director, Watson, and we're just happy to be on board. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much. All righty, let's move on to the next agenda item. Library reports. Actually, director's report. Let's go with the director's report. Director, go ahead.
Good evening, trustees. So I issued my my report, written report. So it's don't have anything additional to add to it at this time. So just really taking any questions from it. Overall, my a summary of what's been happening over the past few weeks. I've been meeting with, I think I've met with all of the Board of Trustee members at this point, as well as briefings, having numerous staff meetings with the administration team which is now the new name of the executive, what previously was known as the Executive Council is now the Library Administration Team. So the other things that I've been doing, I've started to visit some of the branches, meet with some staff individually. Also have had meetings with the staff at Workforce Connections. I'm actually meeting with them tomorrow as well, as we kind of look at what that relationship is and looking at expanding it, or how do we go to the next steps as well. Meeting with city as well as county commissioners. I'm making my way through those meetings as well, including today with Trustee Foyt. And so I've been just busy all over, just doing numerous things as I promised during the interview process, including last Saturday doing a radio interview with former Board of Trustee member Lawrence Weekly. And so as an introduction to the community and just really telling the community about myself and what my view of libraries is and how libraries impact and change people's lives. And so there was a great discussion there. Also participated in Library Legislation Day, and other numerous activities. I've been speaking, continuing that as well, and participated in my PLA board meeting. I was a Library Journal Summit speaker as well, talking about libraries and library collections. And yeah, that's it, Jeff. That's it. That's a summary of my activities. And I guess you could say they are going to be continue to be in written format, because I'm going to be pretty busy and active over the next few years and weeks and months to come. Thanks, Chair.
Well, thank you very much. Trustee Kelly Benavides, any questions or comments for Director Kelvin Watson?
Not at this time. I just wanted to thank him for continuing the briefings. It's something that I know the rest of the trustees appreciate, and I truly appreciate it. So thank you for taking time out of your schedule to make sure you get those briefings done before our trustee meetings.
Thank you very much. Trustee Benavides, is there any items you'd like to be added to next agenda?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Trustee Marilyn Francis Drake, any questions for the director?
No, not at this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Trustee Elizabeth Foyt, do you have any questions for the director?
None at this time. Thank you.
Trustee Jose Luis Melendez, do you have any questions for the director?
No, sir, but I appreciate the conversation.
All right, very good. Trustee Sandra Raymaker, do you have any questions for the director?
No questions, but I just want to thank him for the opportunity we had this week for him coming to Mesquite and us having a real one-on-one conversation. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Trustee Dr. Rogers, did you have any questions or comments for the director?
No, sir, not at this time.
Thank you very much. Trustee Robin Wadley Munier, did you have any questions or comments for the director?
No, I just like the written report, and I enjoyed our chat yesterday. Thank you so much, sir, for the briefings and the time. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you very much. Trustee Brian Wilson, did you have any questions or comments for the director?
Just a quick one. I'd like to just remind the public that Director Watson has joined us 3.5 weeks ago. I remember back in the interviews when he told us how he visited 40-some branches when starting in the first month in Florida. And we all kind of like, okay, that sounds nice. Let's see it. And wow, 3.5 weeks, you deliver. So just thank you for getting out there in the public and really learning Las Vegas and Clark County so quickly. I appreciate that and the amount of effort you're putting in to learning our system fast. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Trustee Wilson, did you want any reports pulled up from any of the departments?
No, thank you.
Thank you very much. Trustee Robin Wally Munier, did you want any reports pulled up from any of the departments to discuss?
No, thank you.
All right. Dr. Rogers, did you want any of the reports from the departments pulled up for discussion?
No, I do not.
Discussion. Okay, thank
No,
you
I do
very
not.
much. Trustee Sandra Raymaker, did you want any reports called up for discussion?
No, thank you.
All right. Trustee Jose Luis Melendez, did you need any reports called up for discussion?
No, sir, not at this time.
Okay, thank you very much. Trustee Elizabeth Foyt, did you need any reports called up for discussion?
I'm not certain where it would fall, but concerning the community engagement, I was curious, wanted to ask Matt, what is the status of our summer food program for the kids? Have we started to do the planning for that? Do we have a partner as we have in the past?
Good evening, trustees. Matt McNally, Community Engagement Director, for the record. As of right now, our Food for Thought program, the planning of that initiative has been suspended until the new director could be brought in and he could be properly briefed. Our partner 3 Square has been informed of this, and they understand the need within the community, as does the library district. Part of one of the challenges of the program is the incentivization of reducing fines and fees. And right now, with the current pandemic and fines and fees suspended for patrons, the opportunity to run a successful program is being considered. So that is part of a conversation that I'm happy to brief Director
Excuse me,
Watson on.
but I think we're talking about two different things. I'm not talking about the one where people are very generous in bringing in food and water in lieu of paying fines.
Okay.
That's a wonderful program. I'm talking about feeding children at certain libraries, which we've done in past summers.
Oh, sure. So thank you for bringing that up. That's a different partnership that we have with 3 Square, a different initiative. As of right now, 3 Square is not providing any types of meals in the locations because their kitchen is closed. What they have been doing is they've been providing shelf-stable food, and we've been working with 3 Square to get that shelf-stable food that we can then have available in multiple library locations across the district, and that can be distributed as after-school snack programs or things like that. So the shelf-stable food is continuing.
I'm still talking about where we had lunch for the children at various libraries that we've done in past summers, where it was an actual feeding program. So that at the moment is dead, is what you're saying?
No, we have the shelf-stable food that is being distributed, and there are plans to continue that throughout the summer.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Trustee Foyt, does that answer your question?
Well, I had a different impression of what the program functioned at in non-pandemic years, and it was a wonderful way to provide a form of magnetism to the library for children to come in, because if they came in to eat, then they frequently were also using the library, and of course, we love that. But shelf-stable food distribution is a different thing than having an area where kids can come in and have a meal with us. And
is this the program that you're referring to, the one that we run in partnership with 3 Square?
Yes,
it is. So I'd be happy to look into that with our staff to ensure that services continue in the future.
So Trustee Foyt, would you like a brief report at the next meeting?
I would appreciate that. I think it's one of the things we can be very proud of. We have many things in our library district that are extraordinary, but that one is quite special. It was close to my heart.
Thank you very much. So Director, just a brief presentation on the 3 Square food distribution at the libraries. Okay, at the next meeting. Thank you very much. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Okay, Trustee Marilyn Francis Drake, any questions or comments? Or do you need any item pulled up?
No, I just have no questions, just a comment on branding and marketing, looking over all of the input and so on that they have listed and so on. They've been busy little bees, and we want to thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. Trustee Kelly Benavides, did you have any questions or any items that you'd like to be brought up from any of the departments?
No, thank you.
Okay, very good. Trustee Nathaniel Waugh, it's coming fast and furious, but we have different departments and they provide reports to the director. They give it to us. And so if there's a question on gate count policy, how come they wrote a check to this person or that bill, feel free to call them up. So did you get a chance to look at it, and if not, that's okay. If you have any questions or would like anything discussed, this would be the time.
Perfect. Well, the only thing, well, the two things is just for Director Watson. I just want to thank him for taking the time on a Friday afternoon to meet with me at the end of his third week. I know I can talk a lot, so I thank him for his patience. And then I just want to give kudos to the brand and marketing team for the social media that I've kind of been noticing. I'm an avid tweeter, a twitizen of the world, I'll say, and I love seeing it, and I love being able to retweet and really show the community what the libraries are doing. So I just want to say a great job to them for that.
Thank you, Trustee Waugh. For the staff that's listening, it's coming fast and furious, but rest assured, we're going to do great things with. You're going to do great things through your director, and it's going to be shared with us. So make sure if something great happens, you share it with the director so we can share it with us. So again, thank you again. The only question I had was for the director. Again, March 15th is we go to 50% capacity. Is that or 50% capacity? And if the governor moves very quickly after that to go to 75% capacity, are we prepared? Just a brief yes or no.
We are prepared.
Prepared. Okay. All right. Very good. So I'm excited. Just keep moving forward. Thank you very much, both to our staff, our union members, and our union president. Thank you for keeping the employees motivated. All right. The next thing we have is, oh, thank you. At this time, I'll accept a motion to accept the reports as presented tonight. Who will make that motion?
So move, Rainmaker.
Trustee Senator Rainmaker, so moved. Who's second?
Jose?
Okay, Elizabeth Foyt, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. Thank you so much. All right, let's see. Let's move on to, we did the legislature. Let's move on to a discussion and possible board action regarding the authorization to extend the appointment of the district's current auditor, BDO USA LLP, for 1 year for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021. Mr. Cabayas Floresto, please go ahead.
Good evening. Trustee Wall, welcome. I'm Floresto Cabayas, Acting Chief Financial Officer. The Nevada revised statutes require the board to designate its auditor every year. A request for proposal isn't required for auditing services, but the district does periodically go through the competitive bidding process and intends to do that again next fiscal year. The last request for proposal was performed or took place in March 2013, where the board approved Piercy Bowler, Taylor, and Kern for 5 years, and the board subsequently approved annual extensions for Piercy Bowler in the years 2018, 19, and 20. During these last 3 years, the district experienced the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic and also worked on complex new markets tax credit transactions that helped fund construction for the East Las Vegas Library and the new Mesquite Library campus. And having Piercy Bowler as its auditor during this time period was very helpful because of the firm's experience in local governments and its direct experience auditing the district for many years. In July 2020, Piercy Bowler was acquired by BDO USA, which is one of the largest accounting firms in the country. BDO performed the audit for fiscal year 2020, and despite the challenges of a merger they were working on last year, they did a good job of combining the library experience of Piercy Bowler with BDO's own national resources, which really brought a fresh perspective to the audit. It was like having the fresh eyes of a brand new auditor without having to train them. And during this challenging time, BDO did agree to keep their fees the same as last year. And based on discussions we've had over cost and audit engagement economics with the firm, again, financial services will be seeking competitive bids next fiscal year, but for fiscal year 2021, staff is asking for authorization to sign the agreement to appoint BDO as its auditor for the district.
Thank you very much. Trustee Kelly Benavides, did you have any questions or comments on this item?
No, thank you.
Trustee Nathaniel Watt, do you have any questions or comments on this item?
I just want to thank you, sir, and Director Watson on maintaining the cost of the fees. I know with mergers, they try to say, well, we're doing something a little different, so it'll be, just a little bit more from you. So I thank you both for being able to kind of keep those under control.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Trustee Marilyn Francis Drake, did you have any questions or comments on this item?
Nothing at this time.
Thank you very much. Trustee Elizabeth Foyt, do you have any questions or comments on this item?
Nothing at this time, but thank you for your report.
Thank you very much. Trustee Jose Luis Melendez, did you have any questions or comments on this item?
No, sir.
All righty. Trustee Senator Raymaker, do you have any questions or comments on this item?
Nothing at this time.
Thank you very much. Trustee Dr. Rogers, do you have any questions or comments on this item?
No, I do not.
Thank you very much. Trustee Robin Wally Munier, do you have any questions or comments on this item?
Comment, I'm in full support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Trustee Brian Wilson, do you have any questions or comments on this item?
Just a quick general question related to this. I know you said it's going to go out for bid next year. How often is it that contracts go 9 years in between going out for bid to someone new?
For audit services, we traditionally go out to bid.
More generally, as a practice, is this unusual, this contract to go this long compared to other contracts without going out to bid again?
Compared to other contracts in the district?
Yeah.
Perhaps because of the nature of the auditing service. Other contracts likely go out to bid a lot more often because of the nature of auditing services and expertise that's needed. We go out to bid traditionally after the end of a multi-year contract, but the board has agreed to approve extensions from year to year for the reasons I mentioned: new markets, tax credits, program, the pandemic. And again, it's the discussion we had with the auditors and their fees that's prompting us to seek a competitive bid for the next audit, because the fees haven't actually changed not only this year and last year, but the year before. So we understand that, auditing firms have cost of living impacts just like other organizations do. They've agreed to hold the fees consistent this year, but based on our discussions, we felt that it was fair to go out to bid to see what other fees would be like. It's likely, again, I won't speculate about the cost of fees in the future, but it just seemed to be in the best interest for the district next year to go through the RFP process.
So you don't think that you know what, never mind. We'll deal with it next year. You answered the question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, very, very good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, then I'll entertain a motion. Who would like to make the motion to approve this contract?
So moved. You want motion to?
Yeah, can you read it off the?
Yeah.
Please, thank you.
Motion to authorize staff to sign the agreement to appoint BDO USA LLP for auditing services for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2021.
That's a motion by Brian Wilson. Is there a second?
I'll second. Raymaker.
Say, Senator Raymaker, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries, Allison. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to under new business, since we lost Shannon Bilberry Axelrod on the Audit and Finance Committee, I'd like to at this time appoint Nathaniel Waugh. Would you be interested in sitting on that committee?
I was going to ask you to sit on that committee.
Okay, very good. So having said that, Nathaniel Waugh is being appointed until we make new appointments in June, I think is when the next time we go to this, but okay. Secondly, in your backup packet there was a request for information on whether employee of the district can apply to be a trustee. Our attorney Jerry Welt wrote up a brief on that, so that's there just for your answers if you need an answer. Okay, it's not really.
Chair Ortiz?
Yes.
I apologize. That was not posted. I was waiting to talk to you. So I
Okay.
can post it. I can give people here copies and I can post.
Oh, thank you very much. So post it for the next meeting then. Let's bring it up for the next meeting. So you will have an item on whether an employee can be a trustee and an employee. And that'll be for the next meeting for discussion.
Chair?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Isn't the city just about to do their appointments
Yes.
next week? I'd like to see that opinion before the city appointments go through.
Sure.
We do have the opinion and I can forward it to the city.
I mean, just for the board, I think we'd like to see it
We'd
as
like
board
to
is
see
what
it.
it was. That's all.
Then I will.
Instead of waiting till next month, that's all I'm asking.
Okay, very good. So give it to
I'll
the
send it
trustees
out.
and also put it on the agenda. And I am on the agenda for March, next Wednesday, was it March 17th, to be reappointed on behalf of the city of Las Vegas. Okay, very good. Lastly, announcements. The Finance and Audit Committee is going to start at 4 o'clock, not at 5 o'clock in East Las Vegas. So if you can be there, the other trustees are welcome to be part of the committee as a whole. But the Finance and Audit Committee will start at 4 o'clock on April the 8th at East Las Vegas, and we'll send you some more notifications. And our regularly scheduled board meeting is also on April the 8th at 6 o'clock at East Las Vegas Library off Bonanza and 28th Street.
Chair, so there was a change because the
Yes.
agenda says
Yep.
Sahara West. Okay.
Yeah, change to East Las Vegas. So make sure you show so you can get your presentation. Trustee Kelly Benavides, do you have any announcements or comments that you'd like to make?
No, thank you.
Thank you very much. Nathaniel Wad, Trustee Wad, do you have any questions or excuse me, announcements that you'd like to make? Thank you very much. Trustee Marilyn Francis Drake, do you have any announcements that you'd like to make?
No announcements, but I just wanted to check with Jose to see if he has become a superhero, because he looks like he has a superhero logo behind him in his picture. So we should be kept abreast of any of this change that might be coming on the board.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Career development.
Trustee Elizabeth Foy, do you have any questions or any announcements?
None at this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Trustee Jose Luis Melendez, do you have any announcements?
Just keeping with the superhero theme, get your vaccinations, spread the word, get the vaccinations. The more Nevadas we get vaccinated, the sooner we return to some kind of normal life. And no, I just figured out how to use all the virtual backgrounds after a year of all of this. So,
all right, thank you. Trustee Santa Raymaker, do you have any announcements?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Rogers, do you have any announcements that you'd like to share?
No, sir. No,
all
sir.
right. Trustee Robin Wally-Munier, do you have any announcements? Trustee Brian Wilson, do you have any announcements?
Just that I love seeing what Trustee Jose comes up with each month.
Okay, very good. Director Watson, do you have any announcements or any comments that we missed?
I have one announcement. I will be attending the Clark County Commission meeting on Tuesday, April the 6th for National Library Week. Everyone is invited to attend, and the meeting begins at 9:15 a.m.
Thank you very much. Attorney Jerry Welt, is there anything we missed?
No, I don't believe there is.
Okay, Ms. Ellison, is there any more public comment?
Yes, there is. And the first one is from Mr. Scott Clonan.
Allison, you don't have to repeat it, but do we have his address in the sign-in?
Okay. Okay.
Welcome, and you have up to 3 minutes. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening, trustees and Chairman Ortiz and Director Watson. My name is Scott Clonan. I am a union steward and the branch manager at the Sunrise Library and an employee of the Las Vegas Clark County Library District for over a decade. I would like to clear up some misconceptions that the board seems to have about the staff of the district and the stewards that represent them. First, the board chose to close the libraries for 2.5 months early last year and again for 2.5 weeks late last year, which is just over 3 months, not the 4 months that was stated last meeting. Staff was not consulted on this decision. We were ready, willing, and able to work. We could have done curbside virtual programming and reference. So the characterization that staff had a 4-month vacation is incorrect, is hurtful, and demoralizing to the staff that wanted to provide vital services to our community. Second, another thing that did not help staff morale was hearing the board bicker and complain about how unsafe it was to have a monthly face-to-face meeting, yet having staff work daily with patrons who are unwilling to wear masks and to social distance. Third, the stewards negotiated in good faith when we were asked for concessions. We were willing to give those concessions without question. We only wanted to know if there was any extra money at the end of the fiscal year, if there was a possibility it could come back to staff. We received a resounding no. The characterization of the stewards as being selfish and greedy is also inaccurate.
We were only looking out for our fellow staff members. The reason the few staff have banked large amounts of sick leave is because the district does not pay our disability insurance, and we are subject to termination after 4 weeks of leave without pay. The large banks of sick leaves are a rare occurrence. In my branch of 27 members, only one staff member has a large bank of sick leave. Most would not cover a 3-month illness or maternity leave. Number 5, despite what was said in the last board meeting, other government agencies in the county received both a merit and a COLA raise. This includes the City of Henderson, the City of North Las Vegas, and Clark County. 6, the board is considering hiring an internal auditor in part because you say you do not hear from staff. I say we've never been asked. Please ask us. We'll tell you the truth. I think a frontline staff member, not an administration staff member, should be at every board member to answer the trustees' questions. 7, Chair Ortiz, you suggested that Fred James receive a financial bonus for leading the district through the pandemic. How about some appreciation for the staff of the 25 branches and the support services that worked daily during the pandemic to provide vital and essential services to our patrons? I want to say that I am extremely proud of the Las Vegas Clark County Library District staff. We are the only district in Nevada to be fully open and one of the few in the nation. We are frontline essential workers, and we have shown up during this pandemic in our branches to provide vital services to our community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Don't leave the podium. First of all, please accept my apologies. It was intended just to the person that sent the email, not as a broad brush on the staff. In my past life, I was a union vice president for 1,000 American Federal AFSCME employees, state employees, and I negotiated a contract. So I know your job and your responsibility as a steward. So again, please accept my apologies for those listening. It was never intended to be hurtful. It was never intended to paint a broad brush on the employees. It was just directed at the comment that was made at the last meeting. But I know without having the full understanding, I can understand where it can be hurtful. And lastly, rest assured that he's our only employee, Director Watson, and so we work very hard to try to get things done as best we can. So, the inability to have a full discussion on your comments prevents me from saying anything else, but just at the end of the day, we're with you. We love the work everybody does. Thank you for doing your work, and please accept my apologies for that comment. On the other issues, again, we're not able to comment. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ms. Ellison?
We have one more public comment. It was through board comments.
Okay.
The gentleman's name is Fred Volz, and I do have his address. He's from Boulder City. Good evening, trustees. For the record, Fred Volz. 36 years ago, your predecessor saw the merits of consolidating library systems between Clark County and the city of Las Vegas. Notwithstanding today's enactment of $1.9 trillion of federal bailout payments to a range of destinations, it is always important when spending money to do so wisely. We have 4 distinct library systems in Clark County: the one you oversee, North Las Vegas, Henderson, and Boulder City. Each of them likely operates in a slightly different way from one another, but the essential services they provide to the communities they serve are effectively the same. While there are various reciprocity agreements for exchanges of materials and use of computer systems, the 4 library districts necessarily duplicate many administrative functions and perhaps lose out on volume buying discounts for subscriptions and other materials. Amazon's announcement today that it will no longer sell ebooks and audiobook versions of works it publishes in-house to libraries certainly changes costs for library materials. What I would like to suggest tonight is the initiation of a discussion among the 4 districts about the possibility of fully merging operations into one district. There could be multiple compelling reasons why such a merger does or does not make sense. We will never know any of these answers if we don't conduct the research objectively. Library systems across the state have been working with one another diligently and regularly in figuring out how to negotiate virus constraints and how best to conduct operations. Therefore, it shouldn't be hard to have the same sort of collaboration with just 4 participants. I hope you will see the merit in adding the subject to your next meeting agenda so it can be publicly disclosed by staff and trustees, leading to progress in finding an improved path forward for the delivery of library services. Thanks for considering this possibility. And he did also request to have these remarks attached to the minutes.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your comments. At this time, there's no executive session. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. We'll make that motion.
So moved.
Wilson.
So moved by Dr. Rogers, second by Brian Wilson. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Have a good night. Meeting is adjourned. We'll see you April the 8th.